Swole Benji here. I have the ultimate budget melee DPS build guide. This is a Great Axe and Warhammer 300 strength build guide, and it's also quite tanky, and this is how the build works. I'm going to show you the budget gear that you can get all in one single day, no crafting required, no dungeons required, or grouping up required. You can do it completely solo. Takes one day at most. And I'm just going to demonstrate the power of this build by going right here in Caminus and grabbing as many dudes as I can. Like, we can grab everybody because they can't kill us, and we can kite them around and fight them infinitely. This build lets you deal tons and tons of damage. You will heal yourself nearly to full with every ability. And I just want to loop them back around, make them nice and tight here. And without them stun locking me, of course. Here, let's charge away. That's going to give us some room. Hit them with a grab well. Alright, so we got them all nice and bunched up. We're going to hit them there. That fully heals us. That's fine. This is going to flatten a bunch. That's another full heal. They're all stunned. We can now reap them. Great. And then this is where I would charge away, which is fine. And then you can wait on your cooldowns. This is how you would safely play, okay? You don't have to play safe with this build if you don't want to. Charge away, hit him with the shockwave again. That's fine. Hit him with the flatten. You don't have to flatten everyone because this one will. Boom. Look at that. They're all completely stunned. Reap them again. Hit them with the grab well. You can actually start doing heavy charge attacks, and because we have all the grit, they can't stop us. And you just rinse and repeat this process, and you can kill all of these by yourself, get lots of drops, get lots and lots of gear score very quickly, mind you. There we go, just flatten them down, reap them. You can even, just hit them with the light swing if you want. Charge away, it's fine. Hit them with the grab well. Hold them there for a bit while your cooldowns come back. And this build, it's a lot of fun. It's very easy. I just want to finish these guys off real quick. And look at my HP, right back to full HP. And I have another full HP move right there. Look at that. Oh man, this gets pretty funny. And you could go toe-to-toe with these guys somewhat. I mean, I do have a lot pulled. You don't have to pull this many. But if you want, you can just do charged heavy attacks. You have a 20% defensive bonus while you do it. This little jump at hammer attack, that's another 20%. When there's two or more around you, that's another 20%. And remember, the gravel blows up, deals damage, staggers them. Like this guy, like they're hitting me pretty hard, right? And there we go. They actually knocked me out of that, but I'm still hitting them with it. And then we can reduce our cooldowns there, get our HP back again. It's this build is just so nice, and look at that. They're all nice and clumped up. We could probably just do charge heavies now, take them out maybe. Let's play a little bit safer because look at our HP. They are chucking us a little bit, but that's okay. You just switch to the hammer, and then you dunk on them, and then you reap them, and your HP comes right back. Also, every time we crit, that's a huge amount of life leech. I don't have life leech on my ring. I don't have it on my weapons. This is all from the perks, the weapon abilities here. And these guys are getting me a little low, and that's fine because I'm just gonna heal it right back. Now, the less enemies there are, the less healing that you technically have, and like I said, these guys actually hit pretty darn hard, but that's okay because we hit really hard too. And if you're not fighting corrupted mobs like I am, remember, these guys are resistant to strike damage. So, they actually are pretty tanky when it comes to this kind of thing, but you just come here, and it doesn't look like they dropped any items, but before I filmed, they have been dropping some stuff, at least this one. Anyway, guys, let's get into the build now. I'm actually going to run out of the zone now and show you exactly what is required. Let me just get into a safe spot here. Also, this build does travel very quickly. You can use charge. You can charge across rivers. Most of you guys should know this by now. The game has been out quite a while. So now that I've demonstrated the power of the build, that you can literally come here and AoE solo elite mobs that are above level 60 with no problems. Just a little bit of finesse, but don't try to fight archers, don't try to fight ranged or spellcasters. They will obliterate you because they just sit back and just spam at you, okay? So, let me just get these guys to retreat real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the build. Alright. So, let's go over the items first, because you need to get the items before you can get the stats. There we go, they're running away now. And we'll just chill in this little campfire corner. That's, if you ever wonder what these poles are in the world, it means to tell you, the player, that, hey, you can put a campfire here. That's all. Alright, let's talk about the items first. Alright, so if you've watched any of my other previous builds, they pretty much use the same amount of items. You're going to go ahead and get your last rank of your heavy armored faction set. And the reason you're going to do this is because you want strength, constitution, but you also want refreshing. That's very important, okay? Refreshing is one of the main ones that you want. The only way to get the craftable item to put refreshing on a piece of armor is to do Dynasty, Genesis, or Lazarus runs and beat the whole dungeon, and you will get one. You'll get one drop. No one ever sells these on the markets either. It's called like Animus or something. I forget the exact name of the crafting material, but the easiest way is to just go grind out your faction stuff. It's really easy to do, and then you will have a full set of heavy armor with strength and constitution. Next up, for your amulet, you want to get Infinity Crystal. Now, to do this, you're going to have to do a very long quest chain that starts in Great Cleave and ends in Shattered Mountain, and it actually ends with you coming here to Canimus to loot boxes, which you can just reset the mobs aggro and then loot them while they do their reset animation. It's very easy to do, but it is a very long quest chain. This quest chain will take you about 4 hours. Alright, now you have Memory of Antonio, which is located by a rare mob to the right of Morningdale. So, you go to Morningdale, you go to the Morningdale town, and right outside the city, you just go to this little tower here, and there will be a ghost mob named Antonio, and you kill it. It only took me about 20 minutes for him to drop. If you run away from the area and come back, he'll respawn in 2 minutes. Otherwise, it's a 6-minute respawn. Then you have the Charm of the Conch song, and wait, let me tell you why you want Memory of Antonio. This is a budget build. There are better items than the things I'm showing you guys. There are better items, but this is what you can get without crafting, without other players. If you were to play this as a single-player game, you can get all of these in one day. Alright, now, the reason you want Memory of Antonio is because Keen Awareness, okay, that's your crit. When you crit with the Great Axe, you get life back. When you crit with the Warhammer with your abilities, you get more life back, okay? And I'm going to talk about the items here in just a little bit. But Hardy is also nice because it gives you extra stamina, so what that means is you can do a third dodge. You did see me dodging around a bit there, and it does help out. So having 3 dodges instead of 2, very cool. Alright, so now the last one, Charm of the Conch song. The reason we want this is because it has regenerating and refreshing on it. It's really hard to find earrings with both of those on it, but regenerating is really, really good. It is amazing. It's like better than having a food buff, basically, all the time, forever. This is technically damage reduction when you think about it. Alright, to get Charm of the Conch song, you are going to go here to Restless Shore. You're going to take either the Shrine of Sisyphos, or you can just go to town. It doesn't matter. But you're going to go right here at this little ship called Minnow's Revenge, and you'll have to go up on a bridge, and then cross another bridge to a boat, and then a third bridge to the last boat. And on the last boat, there is a silver-named Captain Mob. He's got some sort of Asian name, I don't remember what it is. But you kill him for about an hour, and you will eventually get this. Alright, now for the weapons, I'm actually using semi-better or semi-worse weapons, but let me talk about the weapons. You want both your Great Axe and your Hammer to have Keen on them with plus Strength, okay? So this Axe has Keen, it has Chain Void, who cares? And this Hammer has Keen, and it has Lost Bane, who cares? You can get your Faction Vendor weapons, both have Keen and Enchanted, which is better than what I have, even though it's like 7 or 8 gear score lower. It still does more damage, and it does have 1 less strength than these. Okay, so that's the weapons. Now for the stats, when you have your equipment all assembled, you want to put in enough points to get to 300 strength and then put the rest into constitution, okay? If you have weaker weapons than I do, like the faction reward weapons, which deal more damage because they're enchanted, whereas mine aren't, but mine have 1 extra strength, you should have 106 constitution if you have all this stuff. Alright, so I have, what, maybe 80 more HP than you will. That's about it. But with 300 strength, you have grit, and what grit does is when you swing, you can't be interrupted. And when you're doing when you're doing charged heavy attacks with both of these weapons, that gives you a 20% damage reduction. I'm going to talk about that right now. Alright, so let's start with the Great Axe, okay? You can just pause the video or print screen this or whatever. and copy this if you want, but essentially the big ones to pick is Enduring Strike, okay? Because when you're doing a charged heavy, you get 20% damage reduction. That's very important. Okay, you don't want to get heavy pull because that actually lowers your damage. It still wasn't fixed. It's been like a month now, and it still nerfs your damage, so don't ever pick this. Alright, the reason we go Gravity Well is because when you have more enemies in the Gravity Well, it deals more damage, and if you're in the Gravity Well itself, you get 10% Fortify. This one here gives you 10% damage absorption when there's 3 or more enemies around you. That's basically 10% damage reduction. Alright, and then Center of Attention, 10% damage when, you know, you got more enemies. Most of this stuff is just more damage. We have Charge for mobility, and you have Reap because it heals you. Alright, we have this ability because it heals you. We have this ability because it heals you, and the rest are just help you do more damage. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't you get Greed? If, you know, you do some light attacks, you stack that up to 15%, that's pretty good. When enemies are below 50% life, this is way, way better, okay? And you just don't have enough points, alright? And then also, Revenge here, well, if you block, that's another 15% damage, so you're missing out on 30% damage. No. You shouldn't be blocking. You'll be stamina drained. If you have that many elites pulled to you, you will absolutely be stamina drained. Death's Embrace does way more damage than a stacked up Greed does once the enemies drop below 50%. Also for items, you can use whatever gem you want, but I just like Opportunist because I like to kill enemies when they're weaker, especially when there's only 1 or 2 elites left and they tend to, you know, it's a slugfest after that, okay? For consumables, just a regeneration, health potion, and hearty meal. That's all you really need. Now let's talk about the abilities. You got Reap, you got Charge, and you got Grapple. Now let's talk about the hammers, okay? The hammer has the same grid attack ability right here. 20% damage reduction when you do heavy attack. Alright, so this gives you Empower on heavy attack. You should never light attack with the hammer, because when you do heavy attacks, where's it at? Heavy attacks reduced cooldowns by 7%. That's per enemy hit. So if you hit like 5 dudes with 1 heavy attack, which you can do when they're all pulled in and flattened, you basically get all your cooldowns back. And technically, if you do a flatten chain on the enemies, they can never get up and they can never move. Alright, and then this is 35% more damage after taking damage. It's only for 1 second, but it tends to go off more than it doesn't. Now, you want to use Wrecking Ball, okay? Wrecking Ball is going to give you a 20% Fortify for 7 seconds, and with this one, you can flatten everybody. Shockwave is what you'll use to give them Weaken, which is 10% less damage that they deal to you. It's also, it's just really nice to have. Alright, and then Damage Absorption 10% if surrounded by 2 or more enemies, and then of course Path of Destiny, which is this little hippity-hoppity attack where you jump up in the air and slam it to the ground like that. That stuns and knocks everyone down. It's huge AoE. It's really nice once you have it fully talented. The biggest one here is Prevailing Spirit. 35% lifesteal on your Path of Destiny and your Shockwave. This is Shockwave, for those that don't know. It's this one right here. That's your big heal, and then this one is also your this is your bigger heal. It's going to hit more enemies, hit them really hard. This one is your Fortify. You want to hit them with that first, basically. But whatever you're comfortable with, however you want to kite these mobs around, that's how you would do it. And have fun farming elites. I don't think any other YouTuber has made a video on how to AoE farm elites. I expect to see a lot of people here. And this is at Caminus? Okay, it's basically all melee mobs, just about. There's a few ranged in there. A few casters, too. You gotta watch out for those. You can also farm these smaller ones, but they don't have elites. They just have regulars, and they do have archers. So you gotta watch out for that. But yeah, just have fun. Come on down. Get your gear score ranked up, and that's pretty much it for the build. This is the Great Axe. Okay, this is the Warhammer. This is the perks you'll pick. Alright, and like these perks here, you shouldn't ever be blocking. If you're running away, yeah, you take less damage, but when you're casting abilities or charging heavies, this is useless. Alright, you're not ever going to use light attacks, so you're not using that. And then you're not really debuffing much, and you don't need the haste. And then again, you're not using light attacks, so there's no reason to pick those passives. And there's no reason to pick these abilities either, because they just either knock the enemy back or deal damage, or knock the target's armor down a bit. You want to crowd control them, okay? You want to keep them on the ground. But your Great Axe is your big heal here. When they're below 30% health, you heal for 10% damage. If you crit, you heal for 10% damage. And then if you can get an upgraded ring with Keen and Lifesteal, that's a 5%. If you can get Lifesteal in your weapon, that's another 5%. It just ramps up like crazy where you will just heal so much. But like I said, if you have a lot of enemies around you, you do that, that's a full heal. If you hit a line of enemies chasing you, that's a full heal. Okay, and then if you just do this, that's a full heal. It's just so simple, okay? And then if you have the perk, there is an armor perk called Insatiable Gravity Well, and what that does is that turns your Gravity Well into a 50% lifesteal AoE heal, and it gives you a second AoE explosion around your character at the end of Gravity Well. So that means that you're hitting twice instead of once, and you're healing 50% of the damage done each time. So where'd that buffalo go? There was a buffalo that was like sniffing around. There he is. So like just also Gravwell, like I said before when I'm showing you the abilities, 10% more damage for each Focon. So if you grab like 10 dudes, that's 100% additional damage. All that's going to come back as heals. So if I just hit this buffalo here, which he didn't take the hit for some reason, but that's a 1,500 crit. That's on one target, okay? So if we have 10 targets, that would be a 3,000 crit twice, and you're healing basically for 3,000 with one ability, okay? So that's 33% of your life back in one attack. Now this build also, it's really good for just smashing regular mobs. Like you don't have to fight AoE. You can just come up here and you can just do heavies. You don't even have to do heavies. You just spam light attacks. When they hit you back, they don't really do much damage. You can just kind of charge around, kill things. It's an incredibly safe build, and things just die very fast. Like this wolf here, he is not weak to strike. He is not strong against strike either. But you deal... Whoa, the buffalo's coming at me. Come back, wolf, let me smush your face in. Like, look at this. 2,762 damage on that attack. Look at that. That's just a regular heavy. That's so much damage. And then, like I said, you can flatten the guy, hit him while he's down, flatten him again, hit him while he's stunned, and then you can stagger him, hit him while he's staggered, and then it's his turn. Okay, but it's not, because you switch to this, and then that's a stagger, and then this is a root, okay, and then my UI disappeared again because the game's so stupid and buggy. Every time I sell something, the UI disappears, and you have to just open and close your inventory to come back. Alright, so that's it, man. This build, it does so much damage. This is really good for doing dungeons, too. This is the budget version. I made a min-max version. If you want to know what all the best pieces in the game are to wear, it's pretty buried on my channel. I make a video every day, but essentially, go find that build. It's like the ultimate dungeon DPS build, and it tells you the same exact thing as this video, but it doesn't give you the budget version. This is the budget, easy, friendly. You can get everything as if this were a single-player game. If you have a brand new account, maybe you roll on a fresh server, maybe you're deep into the future where someone has like a fresh start server going on or something, and you want to be like the super best dungeon DPS, then this is the build guide for you, man. I appreciate you watching. I make a video every day. My name's Swole Benji, and thanks for watching. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Take care, lads, alright?